Hey guys, Vox here, and welcome to my review of Dragon Ball Super Episode 59. Protect KAIOSHIN GOWASU, Dezoi ZAMASU. I really like how that title rhymes. So this episode picks up where the last one left off. ZAMASU's bringing GOWASU tea, and he sees Goku and company is with him. And ZAMASU's like, oh, any new updates on Black? And Beerus is like, oh no, we're just here for a rematch. But Goku's like, oh, I don't want to fight him. And Beerus is just like, you idiot, it's a cover-up. But he's like, oh, you guys are having tea, we can come back later. So they watch from space, GOWASU and ZAMASU seeing ZAMASU's going to kill GOWASU. And they believe he's poisoned the tea. And I'm pretty sure we all thought that, but that ended up not being the case. We also learned that Beerus can sense when somebody wants to kill another person, and he could definitely sense that ZAMASU wanted to kill GOWASU. Which, that's a really cool ability. Being able to sniff out someone's vicious intentions like that. And then in Trunks' future, Black and ZAMASU are just kind of chilling. And you can see, like, some smog in the background, so I think it's evident that that's still Earth. And now I'm thinking that Black only really tore up really popularized areas of the Earth, like cities, villages, but leaving places with just animals and stuff barren. Maybe they're killing animals too, I don't know, but it makes sense that they just want Earth mortal free without actually blowing up the Earth, and it makes sense as to why Black didn't just straight up blow up the Earth, because they want the Earth, they just don't want any humans on it, they don't want any mortals. That's my takeaway from that. Black says he wants to finish off Goku, but then ZAMASU's like, well then you won't have anyone else to fight. But they already know that Goku's not a match for them anymore. ZAMASU then suggests that Black should get immortality with the Super Dragon Balls, but then he kind of backtracks and is like, maybe you grow rusty. And then ZAMASU makes a smart remark on how Goku's body and the infinitely rising power, how every time it gets hurt he comes back stronger. That ability of a Saiyan, who are mortals, is key for the Zero Mortals plan, to get rid of all of them. Which still kind of like, hey, whoever Goku Black is, that's Goku's body. We assume. Regardless, it is definitely a Saiyan's body. We then cut back to the present timeline, and my favorite subplot of the episode, Kid Trunks and Future Trunks. We have Bulma working on the time machine, suggesting they use a stronger material next time since it keeps breaking. I'm assuming vibranium doesn't exist in the Dragon Ball world. And then we have Kid Trunks chastising Future Trunks, saying, you're not worthy of the Trunks' name, why are you moping around? And that was kind of like the audience's thoughts too, like, why are you like this? This isn't the Future Trunks we know from the Android arc where you're much more badass. And when things are grim, you just keep trucking on forward. I really like that moment. And he knocks him right on his ass. And I was waiting all arc for a true one between Kid Trunks and Future Trunks. This was a moment I was looking forward to since the moment this arc was announced, and we need more of that. We need more of them bonding and sparring, because they come from two separate lifestyles, and I can see that really bothered Trunks to see Future Trunks taking a moment to feel bad about himself, because he really shouldn't have a moment to feel bad about himself. And yeah, Kid Trunks is spoiled, but it really feels like he gets it. He gets that not everybody has this position that he's in. Not even his own future version of himself. But him saying you call yourself a Saiyan and that you're tarnishing the Trunks brand was a really badass moment, I'm not gonna lie. And he challenges Future Trunks to a fight. Yeah, it's pretty tense. I also like his comment about you won't be able to protect Mai like this, Mai in the future. And it reestablishes that Kid Trunks and present Mai, I'm not going to call her Kid Mai because mentally she's not a kid at all. And that still kind of weirds me out how her mentality and the Pilaf's gang's mentality is slowly like reverting into a kid, so they can kind of like justify the relationship between Kid Trunks and Mai more, but it's still just pretty odd to me. We also have a scene of Mai in the future, just with the resistance. She sees them all, you know, just kind of quiet and beat up. They probably feel really hopeless and defeated. After all, if Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks can't beat Black all together, how can they really stand a chance? But then those kids that were from a few episodes prior that Trunks cheered up come, they have snacks, they're chatting it up with Mai, and most importantly, they're hopeful. Even in this bleak situation, they are hopeful. And Mai reestablishes that that's what's important right now, hope. Being strong and not giving up. Because as Trunks said, the smiles on those kids' faces, them still being able to play around with each other, goof off and have fun in this string of desperate situations, that's important. That's what they have to fight for. Because that's really one of the only few things they have left. That's one of the remaining driving forces they have. And I'm enjoying Future Mai's character. She may not be that deep or thought-provoking, but she's badass and she's survived a lot so far already. She can really put in the work, and I mean really put in the work. And even though it was obvious they're gonna kill her off in the beginning of the arc, I'm still very glad to see her surviving and being around. Granted, she's probably protected by plot armor, but who cares? And if she ends up dying by the end of this arc, I'm gonna be very, very disappointed. Because they made it seem like she was gonna play a very big role, and her only role so far is still just being Trunks' moral support, emotional support. Like, yeah, you got this. Yeah, she has her badass outbreaking moments, but not a really big moment yet that says, yeah, she was really important to this arc. Back in Universe 10, in the present day, GOWASU and ZAMASU are having tea. GOWASU's like, oh, you gotta try this food, and ZAMASU's like, I'll pass. And ZAMASU says something to GOWASU that's really concerning and kind of lampshades his descent into darkness. He tells GOWASU that he's thought about what he said between good and evil, and agrees that sometimes evil can result in a greater good. And while GOWASU's like, oh yeah, you get it, we all know what ZAMASU means. Evil will result in a better future, so even though ZAMASU is going to go against GOWASU's morals, and what he feels is right, getting rid of all the mortals is what ZAMASU believes is going to bring a greater good. And it's really sad to see GOWASU have so much faith in ZAMASU. He even says, oh, I'm glad that you're back on the path of good. Not having any doubts about what we're doing and mortals and everything serving a purpose. And in some aspects, that's what I like about Black Goku and ZAMASU. While they're not just like, oh, we're gonna destroy the universe or conquer the universe like all the other villains, they do have a belief system, they do have their own code of honor, and they have enough that separates them from Frieza or Cell or Boo or any villains we had before. Simply because of their beliefs and their sense of justice. So while it may not be something groundbreaking in anime or any kind of storytelling, it's kind of groundbreaking for Dragon Ball. Simply because they're not doing this for fun or to take over the world, but just because they will have this sense of justice. But let me stop repeating myself. ZAMASU begins circling around GOWASU, and Beerus and the gang can see that he's forming his hand to an energy blade, and he's going to kill GOWASU. And at first he does succeed and kill GOWASU, but then Whis uses the old trick. Turning back time, everyone's least favorite plot device. But here it feels a lot less Deus Ex Machina. Beerus puts a cat mitten on ZAMASU, and they expose him to GOWASU, and ZAMASU's like, yeah, I'd have surprised you figured out my plan. And he's still trying to act sinister, and Beerus is just like, don't waste your time, and he obliterates ZAMASU. And that was pretty epic. I was expecting a fight, just because we really haven't gotten that much Beerus action in this series. He fought Goku, and that's about it. He didn't fight Frieza, he didn't fight Champa, and here he just kind of obliterated ZAMASU with like one hand. I thought that was kind of lazy. It was really cool, but in terms of seeing Beerus' raw power, it was like, oh yep, he can do that. Moving on. So while eliminating ZAMASU in a single blow was cool, it could have been a lot more cooler. And GOWASU is, you can tell he's disappointed. Then they all regroup on Earth. Kid Trunks and Future Trunks finish their match. Future Trunks is a lot more motivated now that understanding how his younger self feels. And Beerus is like, oh yeah, because I'm a god of destruction, when a god kills another god, it gets rid of them in all timelines. So, everything's done now. There's no more Black, there's no more ZAMASU, you should be good. Well, he didn't say there shouldn't be any more Black, he said there should be no more ZAMASU, but assumably that would get rid of Black too. and Trunks is Spectacle. And we all know why he's Spectacle, because when the androids got defeated, none of that happened. They still existed in the future, and he still had to get rid of them in the future. And that's where the episode ends, and next week they're all going to the future, and oh boy, Bulma is also going with them, and that kind of concerns me. Because Bulma could die. Even if she gets wished back, that's still a scary thought of Trunks losing his mom in all timelines. And feeling like he failed to protect another life. Especially that being his mom again. And obviously Beerus didn't get rid of Zamasu in the future. Zamasu and Black are still going to be there. And either they're going to stretch out why Zamasu survived, or they'll just tell us when we get to the future. I'm sure Zamasu all had a plan, and I actually have an idea what that plan was. But I thought this episode was okay. Plot-wise, it was really good. It was like Dragon Ball meets Detective Conan, but the animation was kind of a downgrade from the previous few episodes, and the art was definitely a downgrade. It was very subpar, but that's not exactly a bad thing, because this was a slow episode. We didn't need fancy animation and art. We didn't need the best looking episode yet. And a lot of shots still looked really good in detail. The up close shots, those were really good. It was just the group shots that was kind of like eh. But yeah, for a dialogue heavy episode like that, we don't really need flashy, great animation and art. But I still enjoyed this episode. It was not a bad episode by a stretch of any imagination. It was just a slow episode. And it was just another piece of the puzzle. But this is still a really good arc. I'm still really enjoying this arc more than I have any other arc in Super so far. And I still think it's better than the Buu arc. But what did you guys think of this episode? Comment your thoughts down below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Ostrich Vox, signing out.